Hello, everybody, and welcome to WinCat Sports. Mind my voice again, still not the best. Um, it's our NFC North breakdown for Week 18, our last breakdown of the year. For the NFC North, our first game this week, Packers and Bears. Right, we had two divisional matchups going on. Uh, Packers ended up winning 17-9. The Bears couldn't pull it out, and now the Packers have clinched the seventh seed.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to play the Packers in the first round, but they've had a great year. You have to say that about the Pack. At the beginning of the year, I predicted they would be trouble for the Lions, and that Jordan Love would have a better year. And then as the season progressed early on, Jordan Love did not look all that great, and the Pack kind of looked like they were going to tank pretty early on, and then they came back and ended up 9-8 and making the playoffs. And so my original prediction that Jordan Love would be a decent quarterback actually came true.
He played well today. 27 for 32 for 316 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. Packers rushing game did well too, 124 yards. They just overall they outplayed the Bears. They tried to do what we did last year. They couldn't do it. Justin Fields struggled. He was 11 for 16 overall with 148 yards with no touchdowns, no interceptions. They couldn't get in the end zone. They couldn't get a touchdown. If they would have got one, the game would have been closer at the end, but they weren't able to do it. They have a very promising future, though. I think the Bears might be a problem next year.
I think all the teams in our division are going to be a problem this year because the only thing stopping Minnesota from being a problem was their lack of a quarterback. If they fix that problem, our division is going to be really, really tough next year. We're going to be fighting every time we play each other. It's going to be a struggle. And I agree. I think the Bears are going to be better. I think the Pack's going to be better. We're going to have a little tougher schedule. In Minnesota, like I said, we'll see what they do in the offseason.
Yeah, overall, when it comes to the Lions game, right, we'll move on to that. Lions winning 30-20. We already went over that in the post game. Nick Mullins had a great day, all threw for 400 yards. He just ended up throwing 2 picks in the game, couldn't get Minnesota back into it. But even them, Kirk Cousins is going to bring them back into the light and even make it more challenging on the Lions to repeat. I don't really think the Lions are going to repeat as division champs unless they do some major upgrades in the offseason.
They have to fix the defense. But, you never know. I think, like I said, this year we all thought they'd win the division. We were looking at the other teams, and we all thought they would take a step back. We were mostly right about our division. But you can never see injuries. You can never see predict other the intangibles and stuff. And I think Jordan Love ended up being what I thought he'd be, which is a better quarterback than most people thought. I think he's only going to get better. Justin Fields is only going to get better. And we'll see if Minnesota can fix their quarterback issue. We have to fix other issues, mainly on defense. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So how the division ends up at the end of the year, Lions 12-5, could have been 13-4 if things were called right.
Could have been the number 1 seed if it wasn't for one call made by the ref in that Dallas game. That was wrong.
Green Bay finishing in second place and 9-8, clinching the last wild card spot after the Rams beat the 49ers today. Chicago finishing in third with a 7-10 record, and then Minnesota finishing at a 7-10 record. So Aaron Rodgers will be making his return to Chicago next year instead of Green Bay. So
nice.
We do not have to worry about him coming back and facing us. We end up likely facing the Bills or the Dolphins next year as our AFC East opponent. But the division kind of turned out to how we thought it would be. I think Green Bay is higher than me and Uncle Ed predicted. You had Green Bay a little bit higher in the predictions than we did.
I think I had them at 9-8, didn't I?
You had them, I think, second in the division. I don't know if they were 9-8.
Well, they are second in the division. I thought they'd win about 9 games. So I was pretty spot on about them. I thought the Lions, I think you said the same thing. I thought we both thought they'd win 11 games.
I said 13.
13. So I said 11. They were in
Well,
between.
Glenn said 14.
But you were probably right. You were right. I'm considered. I just feel like I said, if in our hearts we know we should have 13 wins and we should be the number 1 seed, it really does suck
likely
that we have to end up playing probably the toughest opponent of the first round.
Likely out of all that would have happened, let's say we beat Dallas, we probably would have had to fight for the number 1 seed and hoped that San Fran sat people out, because I don't think they would have sat people out if the number one seed wasn't there.
You know what? You're probably right. Okay, yeah, you are. I will agree. That is true. That is very true.
Now, like I said, it still could have been a possibility that we did get the 1, but you end up with the 3. You end up facing LA, and we're going to get more into that, all the playoffs in a little bit in another video, not in this one. But Lions win the division for the first time in 30 years. Like I said, I don't know if they'll repeat it. It's not going to be an easy next year. First time in 30 years you're facing first place.
And I don't
teams,
think people should be mad about that necessarily. I think we should certainly be a double-digit win team. I don't think that we should be satisfied with going back to being an 8-9, 9-8 team. I certainly think we should be a playoff team next year. All we're saying is that we're going to have competition in our division.
It's not going to be as easy. Plus, again, you're not going to be playing as easy of games because you're going to be facing San Fran. You're going to be playing Dallas in Dallas again. You're going to be going facing Tampa. You're facing whoever wins the AFC East. That's Buffalo or Miami. You're facing the AFC South next year. And 3 of those teams looked pretty decent this year between the Colts, the Texans, and the Jags, besides the fact they fell off. So you are not having an easy schedule next year like you did this year.
And anyone thinks that Dan Campbell's coach of the year, he's not. The Texans coach is going to be coach of the year.
You can also argue the Browns coach as coach of the year, bringing them out of
I just think everybody here, no one thought the Texans would be even close to a playoff spot. And they have turned it around in 1 year. I mean, you got to applaud that.
You also, again, if we're going to argue coach of the year, you go with the Browns coach because he is 11. He's 11-6 with a 4th string quarterback.
Yeah, but the Texans were utter garbage last year.
Yes, but
no one expected that. We all know that Cleveland has a great defense, and Joe Flacco, whether you want to say it's a 4th quarterback or not, Joe Flacco, he has skills. He's won a Super Bowl.
But we'll get more into that kind of stuff in the playoff video. But with the Lions, right, they finished the division with a 4-2 record. Packers were also 4-2, while the Bears and Vikings were 2-4 in the division. And again, it might look very similar next year with how it all goes. We'll do like an early prediction once the year ends to see where everything's at. But hopefully next year we have another good year inside the NFC North. And it's probably going to be more competitive, which is what everybody wants. We like competitive football, not runaway football.
It should be.
But with all that being said,
it's been a crazy year anyways. It's been very competitive. Come down to the wire for most of these teams.
Yes, it has. The division probably will come down to that last game of the year next year. With all that being said, though, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Share the video around. Let me know what you think about this year so far with the NFC North. And if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, hope to see everybody soon.